Salve! And we are back for part 2 of an interview with Estella the Wandering Artist, also known as Holly.
Yes, Holly the Small.
Yes. Okay, so in the last video...
Look at this cup for scale.
Do you know what? Is that alcohol in there or is that water?
No, it's just
Because
me.
supposedly in the last video you were drunk.
No, I was just being me. That was honestly just me being
It's
me.
very judgmental of you, Matthew, to assume Holly was drinking.
No, that was the previous night, because I'd gone to the Orc Luau.
Yeah, that was a
That's
good
the reason
time.
why I was wearing a lei.
So in the last video we spoke about your getting into LARP, talking about, you know, how you found your group. Also, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was the video that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
The very well-known video that I will put a link in the description of most probably both videos. But I just remember someone saying to me, "Oh, you want to try Empire?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then they didn't send me over the Empire video, the one that's been around for a long time. That I think it's on Matt Pennington's channel. And don't get me wrong, it's a great video. I have watched it since.
It's great.
But the first video I got sent was yours, an introduction to Empire.
Mm.
And I just remember watching it and just being like, wow! God, it's been nothing but that since I got it. I just remember looking at it and just being like, this is a different approach. And the levels of kind of like honesty within it, especially like when you had the whole thing about dog walkers.
Yeah.
Like, and I love that because it was all animated as well, and I was like, this is really cool. Like, you don't normally see this, and yeah, I just remember being absolutely blown away by it, and rewatching it again to do obviously research for the interview and that, just to kind of get my head around it. Just being absolutely blown away, and as it sits today, well, I don't know the full analytics of it, but looking at it, the video currently stands at 60,000 views.
Yeah, and considering the fact that I thought it would only reach, like, you know, maybe like 5,000 or like, you know, 10,000 at most, generously, because of its limited audience.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to go that far.
But it's crazy how far that work's gone out there.
Like, literally, like, measurably far. Because, like, I have, like, so many... My viewership is, like, it's not just UK, it's, like, America, Germany, bit of France, like, you know...
Only a little bit.
A smattering of, like, all over from Europe.
Yeah.
Like, Australia as well. The furthest you could possibly get.
And how weird does that feel to know that your work had got so far over? It must be a crazy feeling. Like, I remember for me when I found out that someone in Detroit had watched, you know, an Orc Planet video. I was like, okay,
That's wonderful,
that's a bit of an odd feeling, and you do feel like, well,
Yeah.
it got there. But your one is just, talk me through how it all came about and why, because that to me was the one thing I wanted to definitely get in with this interview with you is why do it?
Well, returning to the first part of the interview, like, so before I had that moment with that Dornish group, my situation is that it's surmised in like the perfect way possible as like the aftermath of like my first event, where I chatted to my friend afterwards, and he was incredibly apologetic for like not being there as much as he could have, and like all was forgiven immediately. I wasn't upset because I had such a good time anyway.
Yeah.
But but you know what he told me?
What's
He had
that?
a friend tell him that it's fine, just leave her to sink or swim.
Some tough love right there, but okay. Yeah.
Like, it's not the approach that I would have really preferred, to be honest, because if it hadn't been for him having that spare moment to introduce me to his friends,
it would have all been a different thing.
It all would have been a different thing. I might not be here talking to you right now.
Yeah.
That video certainly wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And I would have probably like been literally somewhere else. Like, I'm fairly certain that video helped me get my job. And a lot of incredibly just wonderful benefits have come from it.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing where I just really wanted to make something. I was doing my master's degree at the time, and I had really kind of I was doing a video about TTOs, which means two takeouts, and it was a medical term, and it's essentially I was creating a video explaining what TTOs are and why they're important.
Okay.
And I should have realised this ages ago, that informative media I found way more interesting than narrative media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you like half of your Netflix serials. Like, I'm more kind of online YouTube tutorial rather than, you know, like original sort of like online series.
Yeah.
Not really interested in narrative stuff. All of the stuff I watched in my spare time was like Extra History, CP Grey.
Okay.
Those kind of YouTubers who using like really snappy, really sort of like no more than like maybe 10 to 20 minutes sort of like videos explaining here's a subject from beginning to end, summed up in sort of like the simplest, most comprehensive way possible. Here's an invitation to go out and learn more about it, or like you've learnt enough to have a decent scope of the subject. There wasn't anything else like that out there for LARPing.
Yeah, I mean, even looking now, I don't really feel.
I mean,
there's a handful
who's
of
going to
stuff.
pay to do it? Who's going to get paid to do an animated video about LARPing? Maybe like in 5 years, or maybe sooner than that.
But I don't think I've seen anything out there, and I don't really think there's an overly like a lot of that type of thing out there anyway, even on a non-animated scale. Like, there is quite a few LARPing channels, and there'd be reviews on LARP
And
like
they're
what we do.
superb.
And, you know, there's a lot of love for the community out there.
Yeah. I mean, Momo O'Brien's video, her video on explaining LARPing is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, she was absolutely an influence, because the energetic and personal way, and the very sort of like personal, human, and funny and charismatic way she explained what LARPing is. I bet she's like inspired thousands.
Yeah.
To get into LARPing with that one video she made. Not to mention all of the other ones she's done about talking about Beakerline and the other LARPs that she's gone to. She's magnificent. You're out there, Momo. Call me.
All right, yeah. Use my channel to push it. It's fine.
That was cheeky.
No, but it is like we all take inspiration from anywhere that we can find, and we should never turn down that. If you've got that spark to do something, do it. Passion
fuels innovation.
Yeah, and I mean, I will always take with me one of the things that I'd heard from Kevin Smith, and that's a real. I'm not sure if you know who Kevin Smith is. He's a director.
He is.
But it was always instead of going to someone, why? Go to someone, why not?
Yeah.
And to me, that kind of always
that's really good.
That always stuck with me.
That's really good.
To just go to someone, well, why not go do that? And even in a role play aspect, why not go do that?
Yeah.
You know, don't sit there and shut people down with why. Just go, why not?
That's superb.
And do it whatever way you want. And, you know, with your video, I think it did go to a lot of people going, oh, I could do this.
Yeah.
And it gave enough information, and it was really nice and refreshing. And bear in mind that by the time I'd watched it originally, I'd been LARPing for about 6 years.
Oh,
So I'd been
LARPing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been LARPing since I was 22.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I had seen it, and I was like, okay, I like this. Like, and bear in mind, because they had never seen anything. I was like, oh yeah, all right, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think one of the key motivating factors behind it was to break down the wall of going, like, first the video had to start like, this is a weird thing, but it's great, why aren't you doing it? And again, it was also that thing of, I just really wish I had something that was presented in a specific format that I personally respond to. The wiki for Empire is incredible. Absolutely incredible. One of the defining features that makes Empire so unique and so wonderful is that, like, there is... It's... I think the word count that Matt P gave is that it's like 3 Bibles long or something. Something like that. I don't specifically remember how many Bibles. Yeah, and you don't even have to read it all to get the full, like, to get enjoyment out of it. It's like the Silmarillion, but like more, but a wiki.
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of like the wiki was always more of a slight advanced version. Like, it was always good to go get your bullet points from, but it was never... You couldn't sit down.
If you want to deep dive. But if you want the surface level information that will carry you through, here it is.
Yeah.
But then again, I have always learned best from informative visual media.
Yeah.
Your tutorial videos that explain things like step by step, and if they can do it in a fun and personable way, that's a bonus. So that was the motivating factor. Creating something that I wish I had at the start to make LARP less giant and scary. And that's how Welcome to Empire was born. And I essentially listed all of the information that I felt would be really, really good to know for a new player, like what the egregores are, like basic sort of like self-care, and the timings for new player meetings.
Sleeping.
Not putting your sword up, your LARP safe sword up on the tip. Like I still get comments about that. Like that one scene where the guy it's dark and the little character is sleeping in the sleeping bag, and the sword is like, the tip is being rested on its tip. YouTube annotations are no longer a thing, so I can't put a little note in saying don't do this.
It's a cartoon.
No, it's fine. It is a genuine thing.
No, yeah, I get that.
No, like, I will certainly point it out in future videos.
What, just have a recap? I was wrong. Don't do this.
I would love to do a Welcome to Empire Redux version.
There you go.
That'd be great. I'd love to do that.
There you go. Why not?
Yeah.
It kind of works together. So, if you haven't seen it, go pause right now, go watch, and then come back. All right? Do that. So you just watched the video. Well done. We are proud of you for watching the video. Anyway, now you're back. So how long did it take you? Because, you know, your videos...
6 months.
6 months.
But that
was... A lot of time.
It's not the animating it part. It was 6 months because I had other things to do, and because there was a whole development aspect, and it was my final project for my master's degree.
Oh, okay.
So I was writing an essay on top of it, and citing sources, and also preparing to enter the big scary wide world of
adulthood.
Yeah, pretty much.
6 months. That's. Wow.
I started developing ideas for it during the summer. And I did previous as part of another module. I did a whole presentation on like, why isn't there more informative media about LARPing? Like, basically that was the whole.
Yeah.
Like it was a great PowerPoint presentation. It might be still kicking about somewhere. I'd love to take that to LARPCon.
Yeah. So how was the feedback for you then? Did it change anything? Because obviously, like, I know I've felt it on a very minuscule level, where, you know, we'll be walking around and it'll be like, oh, you're the people from the Orcs Planet. And it'll be like, hello. Like, you know, and we would get that. But it's not really had any major ramifications in play, or we haven't been approached by people or anything like that. How has it been for you, not only OC but IC as well, from how far that your video has reached?
Well, the IC effect, and I'd say this is quite, you know, like, I'm glad that this is the case, because I don't want any a preferential treatment in roleplay period, just because of something I've made. Mm-mm.
It's not why you made it.
No, absolutely not. But that people luckily my IC occupation and my OC occupation kind of have a lot of crossover because, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah.
But the OC effect, just having people come up to me, young and small, like big and old and big, like family units, like just couples. But here's the thing. They don't recognise me at all just from sight because, well, it's an animated character. But when they hear me talking, that's when the cogs turn and they go, hang on. But you know what the most beautiful, most wonderful thing that has come out of it is when people come up to me and say, your video is the reason why I wanted to give this a try. Not just Empire, but LARPing in general. Yeah. It's like, I can't tell you how gratifying that is. Sure, it's exactly what the video was intended to do, was to break down the walls of LARPing and be less scary, but I didn't...
But when it's actually there in front of you, it's completely different, and you're just like, oh, this is real.
It's been incredibly emotional, but in a really positive way.
Okay.
I think one of the loveliest things that have ever happened is that I've taken my mum LARPing. And I took her to a player event, a League-themed player event. Okay. And somebody who is now one of my best friends to this day, you know, in person, like up to that point I've been telling my ma and da about how, like, my video has had this effect. Yeah. But to have that happen in person in front of them, like... Because I love my parents. Yeah. A lot. And, like, my success has come out of a desire to make them proud. Like, as a thanks to all of the support that they've given me. Yeah. Because they are an incredibly wonderful couple. And I love them very dearly. And the fact that I, like, forget the 2 times I've graduated. Forget like my degree qualifications and stuff like that. That, like, having somebody...
It's actually there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. That's it's one of those things that doesn't matter what's on paper. It matters what's there. And that must be a really cool feeling. However, I am just going to say, Mum, you're not becoming an orc. You're not coming with me. Don't get any ideas. No. No. That would be a terrible idea.
I'll trust you. I'm sure you make a lovely orc. Try tabletop instead. You don't have to dress up for that.
There you go.
Yeah. That's how I got my start. I'm doing fine.
So, how was the reception from PD on the video?
The reception from PD was pretty good.
Okay. Because obviously, you know, they didn't pay you to do it. They didn't...
I was so keen on making sure that they knew exactly what I was doing. Yeah. And I sent Matthew the script and like previews and stuff like that, just to make sure that I wasn't saying anything that would alter the game in any way. Yeah. And it's worked out for everybody.
Yeah, because really. I mean that in itself has been some great work, and I think people do need to, like, just take a second to realise that wasn't paid work. That was you doing it through the love of what you do, and that is amazing for a game. And to have Empire, to have you do that is, in my opinion, very, very lucky, because not a lot of systems have that.
Yeah, but that speaks to the quality of Empire, doesn't it?
Oh, it's an amazing game.
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself ever, you know, calling it a day, you know, from Empire, until obviously Empire closes, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I just think it's an amazing game within itself, and it's given a lot of people creative inspirations to do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a reason why it keeps just growing and growing and growing and growing. We were actually talking about this earlier, about how it's not really a beginner's game.
Yeah, in the respect of it's not a one shot.
No, it's not designed that way. It could be.
Yeah, but I don't think you would enjoy it as much as other systems that you could. And when I say one shot, what I mean is go once and not go back.
Save that for Conquest.
Yeah.
Germany's Conquest. I mean, that's designed as, like being a getaway weekend. Well, not a weekend, it's a week.
Yeah.
It's a week.
That's not to say you couldn't do Conquest on a...
Oh, I'm sure people
on a long basis, but it is that thing of I don't think Empire does do those one shot. I think it's designed to be the long haul, and I think that allows you to put more of yourself and more pride into creating this long life thing. That means your costumes are going to be outstanding. I mean, I can see something over there that looks pretty good. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to get that?
Come here. Right.
So I hadn't seen this yet, but this is suddenly.
I don't know how good that is looking in the shot, but here it is.
So I'm guessing this is your jacket.
Oh, this is my doublet.
Your doublet.
Yeah, I've had this for a while, and it was designed by the lovely Sarah Poulter of Angrave Designs.
Okay.
Now, I didn't always have, tailor-made stuff at the beginning of the game. I was walking around in...
Well, you had a shirt from, was it Whitby?
Whitby.
Whitby, there you go,
Whitby. I didn't bring that with me.
Yeah.
But essentially, I had, this... Now, here's something interesting. The League. I think one of the things that puts people off about the League is kit requirements. Because the whole there's a very big emphasis on fancy. However, I did fine with just a flouncy, baggy shirt with lacy loosey-goosiness about it, with an appropriate coloured sleeveless long sort of jacket. Essentially, it was basically
a trench coat without arms.
Yes, but no pockets or anything.
Oh, okay.
Not made out of leather. It was basically a piece of fabric. It was it was some sort of sleeveless sort of top that I'd gotten from a cheapo kind of retail outlet basically. But it did the job. I just had some leggings, I had some decent boots, and to be honest, not everybody in the League can be at the top. You've got to start somewhere, right?
There you go. Well, as we said earlier, you're not all the king. We're not all kings and queens
Exactly.
of a village that's been destroyed or some major backstories. Some people are at the bottom. You're working your way to the top, and that's okay. You don't always have to be, up there in the mountains with everyone else.
And your character, on the opposite side of things, they could be a character who's, obscenely rich and owns a business and stuff like that, but they just don't care. And they wear, the most laid-back outfits ever. I'm so rich, I don't care what people think of me. Because I can pay people to like what I wear. I could wear rags and make it look good, honey. Honey! But, this is very special to me. I believe... Sarah Poulter actually had a hand in helping design the League costume brief. Oh. Yeah, so this was I didn't know that at the time, so it made it extra special. But essentially what I did is that I sent over a sort of a rough idea for a colour palette, and I wanted this symbol as a back panel. I was
going to say it's the eye, isn't it?
Yeah, which I'll go into a bit more detail later. And I know that I wanted something sort of autumnal coloured and something form-fitted to my body and something that looks just absolutely League.
Yeah.
But I want it to be more masculine than feminine.
Okay.
Because I can't wear dresses, I can't wear skirts. And the character of Estella is very sort of I want, she'll be kind of highfalutin drinking fancy wine and eating gold leaf one minute, and then chumming it with the Imperial Orcs or Navarre, sitting around a campfire, sort of drinking sort of moonshine hooch.
And kebabs.
And kebabs. Oh, she absolutely would be the type of eating a Macca's at 3 a.m.
I like her already.
Oh yeah. That's what she's like though. So I wanted something that was League-ish, sort of form-fitting to the female form, but masculine.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think that encompasses a lot of it.
And sort of close-fitting to the body, so nothing gets snagged as she's sort of like, you know, running through the fields, you know, like uninhibited, like the hedonist she is.
Just imagine you running through like a field like Forrest Gump.
Run, Forrest!
I think it worked. So, here's always an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
And I always love to kind of hear. I did hear that.
Oh no.
Here's an interesting question. Well, I always loved to kind of find out from people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is obviously hypothetical,
Mm-hmm.
but if you wouldn't die for a year as your character, you knew like you couldn't.
Diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic immunities. If you knew you could, you know, get through, what would you want to achieve in a year? Like in that one slot.
But that's the funny thing. That's exactly what I do anyway, because I don't do combat.
Okay.
So dying's not an issue until someone's really determined to kill me. But nobody wants to kill me. Everybody loves me.
No, but I mean, you know, you obviously
No.
take away that complete, you know, worry, because it can still happen. Like, and I think a lot of people think that if you're a non-com, you've kind of got that you're going to live forever card.
No, absolutely not.
And you don't, because there is always the possibility of anything happening.
I could be poisoned. I could be stabbed in Murder Alley.
Exactly. Well, I've had a nice walk through.
Oh,
It's not actually that bad.
not that bad.
No,
It's actually quite pleasant in July.
I did have about 7 orcs with me.
Yeah.
But
you see, that doesn't count, dude.
I'm not doing it on my own.
Yeah, you
And
do
not
that
at
just
night.
before timeout.
No.
Just before timeout, by yourself in the dark.
Oh, should we have a competition next time?
Yeah, see who gets to live through one
Yeah,
stroll
we'll
through Murder Alley.
we'll walk together and see who walks out.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you achievement wise, what would you want to achieve as your player? As your
Well,
character, sorry, shall I say?
here's the interesting thing.
Mm.
When I started the game, one of the first things I heard about was past life vision.
Okay.
And I am very pleased to say that I achieved a past life vision. And it was absolutely wonderful, and thanks in no small part to my group, who did what they had to do to make it happen. No, it's not nearly as sinister as that. Oh my gosh, one of the greatest experiences I've ever had on the field is my past life vision interview.
Okay. I think we skimmed over this briefly yesterday in a conversation. Yeah, I mean, if you want to divulge the story.
So, hot tip, if you want a past life vision, do so needing to pee. It worked for Winston Churchill during his speeches. It works for me as well. But no.
God, you're going to get a lot of people telling you off. I had stomach problems because Holly told me to hold it in.
I whizzed myself right in.
Yeah, you're just going to get people being like, well, because of Holly, I ended up weighing myself in an interview. It's all on you.
No, it's all on them.
Yeah.
It's all down their front.
Touche. I like that. Well done. There's your answer. Anyway. So, the past life vision. So, you had the interview. And then, what happened with the interview?
I was up against some really great contenders. But I have this weird thing where I love being interviewed. Fancy that. Look at where we are.
Breaking the fourth wall.
And so all I really had to do was roughly go over it with the gatekeeper of pride, and have an idea of what I was going to say. And I say that this is a really good piece of advice in general. Anybody, you, me, and the people watching this, we have probably accomplished more in our lives than we give ourselves credit for. It's only until you actually sit down and think about, your credentials, that you actually realise how much you've managed to accomplish.
And not even just that. I mean, just the friends that you've made, the life events that you've had. It doesn't have to be anything that's on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be the amount that you have in your bank. It's about the experiences that you live through.
Yeah, and overcoming stuff.
Yep, that's another thing as well.
But that's because past life visions interviews are interesting because they ask you about your negatives just as much as they ask about your positives. I gave concise answers.
You didn't go with the "I just care too much." I've got my timekeeping is just too good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Can you tell I do interviews?
Yeah.
Yes.
However, a good way to answer a sort of like, what are your worst qualities questions is admitting to a fault and asking how you've managed to turn it into a positive despite that.
That's true.
And that's pretty much exactly what I did. I said that like Estella's weakest virtue is loyalty because they are highly independent and they don't like to be tied down to like too many like long-standing obligations. And then I went and proved myself wrong anyway because I talked about how I cater to the individual and encourage them to stay in Anvil and contribute to, to the Empire. And then the person was like, "You're in loyalty? What the sod are you talking about? Like, get out of here. Take this Liao and get out."
So I did some research looking into this. That's not super common, is it?
True Liao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not common. Now, as far as I've been told, there's most probably only ever a handful out there.
When I had my interview, there was only one dose available, which made me feel even more like a giant jammy git for getting it.
That is, because I was interested because I found out that by using True Liao, you could hallow something and you didn't have to keep doing it.
Yeah, I know.
And this is it, because I was like, I'm gonna get, because obviously I've got the belt and the belt's hallowed to Pride, and I was like, right, I'm gonna have to find some True Liao so I won't have to worry about it. And then I got told how rare it actually was. I was like, yep, I'm just gonna have to do this every year.
Yeah. But the reason why I say that in response to your question earlier is because, to be honest, I accomplished like one of the things I wanted to do since the beginning. So anything after this is like a victory lap.
I completely get you. Like, it's personally, it's the same for me at the moment with my character. You've achieved your main thing. Now it's just enjoying everything that comes after. It takes a bit of the strain away as well.
Absolutely.
What's really nice, you can kind of maybe go into areas that you didn't want to do before.
Yeah.
Was pretty cool.
In fact, I had I believe that it was either the Gatekeeper or the Cardinal or the Inquisitor of Ambition. I met them at the Triple Bill player event. That was basically 3 themed player events in one over the span of a weekend. It was superb. And I chatted to them and I was talking about, like, I already did my big thing. And I'm like, wow. And they were like, but what next? And I'm like,
wow. Sorry, that's just stuck in my head now.
It's stuck as much as the Nightman.
That's exactly the way that we're going to do the interview.
So what my main focus is right now is that one of the other things I'm known primarily for in character are the Anvil tours. And essentially the idea behind those is that, like, what's a thing that I would have really loved when I first started my role-playing career in Anvil? What would I really I was lost for words. That was, yeah.
No, sorry, I'm just imagining you like on top of like a double-decker bus doing a tour with a load of new players sitting on the bus, you with like a little hat on going, on here...
That was essentially the vibe I was going for.
I don't know why. I just imagined it in my head.
Just imagine it as a caravan instead. Pulled by oxes, not horses.
And on the right we have the orc camp.
Don't go in there.
That wasn't pre-planned.
No, but I knew where you were going. Yeah. I picked up what you were laying down. You see, the Anvil tours, while they lasted, was such a wonderful experience because I met people on those tours that I still am friends with today.
Yeah. And
I think it helps a good few people kind of like, sort of like, break the invisible barrier, as it were, to kind of like the roleplay experience because they're getting told about things that exist in the universe in an informative way, but in character.
Yeah.
Now, the Anvil tours sadly didn't last because it was just me doing them on my own rather. And near the end I had people helping me because I was just so mentally and physically exhausted by them.
He's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And essentially I was doing something that honestly people are paid to do for free on a weekend where I'm supposed to be having fun. And
that you're paying for.
That I'm paying for.
Yeah.
And it was mentally exhausting. The benefits were there, but there were so many setbacks. Like, not only did it take time away out of my weekend, but even though I was informing the guests, the problem there is that took nearly 2 hours out of their weekend as well. Stuff that they could be spending time with other people and like starting off basically. So they had to come to a close because of those factors. Because if I brought in other people to do it for me, that I'm just handing off that
kind of dream as such.
Yeah.
That you had to kind of go forward. Okay.
Yeah. It would be handing off like. So I want you to sink 2 hours of the weekend that you're paying for doing basically a job for no money.
Yeah.
And no rewards. So, yeah.
So
have this toy money.
Is that where that little handy thing?
Yeah.
Is another thing here.
Yeah.
So Holly brought a lot of material for us to use. That's really cool.
I have a lot of material to work with.
So what's this is a guide, is it?
Yeah, this is the guidebook that was written from the tour script I wrote.
Okay.
And I had a bunch of people credited here as basically fact checkers.
Yeah.
And I gave them fun little in-character cover-up names for their real-life names.
Okay.
Because in character I didn't ask them nothing.
So is this still available?
It's not currently running right now.
Okay. Is it in the library?
It is in the library. There is a saved copy there.
There you go.
Essentially, what this is the script for the tours in a cute little pocket guidebook that I thought, how about I just write it all down and people can like spoon through it at their own leisure. And that's how this came about. And I have to give props to Gary and the rest of the library staff for making this a reality and doing all of the print work. Oh gosh, it wouldn't have been possible without them, and I can't thank them enough for what they did for me for almost free. Like, I actually insisted
that you put something down.
Put something towards the printing costs.
It's pretty good of you.
Yeah, and the idea is that if one person could buy it, they could bring it back to their house or Carta or like group or guild, and they could have it in the middle of the table for the rest of the group and new people walking in to pick up and have a read through. And this is something that you could enjoy like out of character. Like,
yeah, I mean, I had skimmed through it myself to have a quick read and be like, it's pretty cool.
So what it has in here is a whole bunch of information like the league enjoy this sort of thing, and they wear masks for this reason, and the orcs will not take kindly to you just walking in without reason. That's another thing as well. The 3 things you need to walk into the orc camp is a friend, a weapon, and a reason to be there.
Yes, because it's not a zoo.
Yeah, it's not a zoo. Yeah.
That was more of a we're not animals.
Yeah.
We're real people.
Yeah. And it also talks about, this is the bit that I liked the most, is that it lists places that you can physically go to.
Yeah.
And meet people and hang out and trade and ask for advice. It's supposed to just sort of like open the door.
So I think my favourite part was reading. we're obviously I'm gonna go immediately to the orcs, and immediately I'm going to go to pit fighting, and if I can find the page, I'm going to read out. Here we go. So my favourite part of this is, be warned, however, the first row is the splash zone. Thanks.
That was a real life experience.
But highly accurate.
Yeah. No. I was at a pit fight and there was fake blood sprayed all over my outfit.
Yeah.
And luckily it was a soluble one, so like it washed out afterwards. But I've literally been splashed in the front row of an orc fit. So this is just like, this is all.
It's a lot of blood.
There's a lot of blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've gone through that. And we've kind of had a brief chat about your character, your video, and all of those fun and interesting things. But one of my final questions for you, or the final question that I always love to ask people, dream pit fight.
Oh.
Now, it doesn't have to be you.
Me and Crag.
That was quick.
Yeah. No, this is let me tell you,
Okay.
this is something that I've had in mind for a very long time. I want to throw down with Crag.
George, the challenge has been set. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, I want to throw down with Crag.
Crag it is.
No, it would be a friendly fight. It's not like any antagonism or anything. It's just two friends.
It's Crag. He's gonna be shady.
Of course he's going to be shady. Estella's going to be shady too.
I mean, as much... Oh, do you know he's an Ashbourne now? So he's part of my banner now.
Like, it's George. Like, he can't sit down for like 5 seconds without trying something new. I mean, like one time he was like he was planning on being a fitness instructor. Now he's like sending me pictures of him like riding helicopters and stuff and talking about being a teacher. He doesn't sit down. It's like, George, calm down. And like, Crag is the same.
Pretty much. Although I think George actually has it. The first orc to be in 3 different banners.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's going to go, I bet you any money it's going to be 4 by the end of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. Right, well that's kind of me done. Is there anything that you want to put out there to the world, or is there any upcoming videos? Is there any upcoming places that you're going to be? That, because you've got a bigger fan base than I do.
I that's generous.
You do. I've seen your subscriber count. It's bigger than mine.
Oh.
So yeah, if you've got anything, feel free to
Well, the first thing I want to say is that despite everything, like, the video currently standing at, being 3 years old, like, something new is coming. Unfortunately, I do animation for fun. So that means that the YouTube channel comes last, but that doesn't mean that I don't have something in development. Okay. In fact, I've spent all of this time figuring out exactly what I want to do that will be the most useful. The first idea was another Empire project. In fact, I might even return to it because honestly, it's just like the material that I already have for it is like good for several 10 different shorts. But I wanted to kind of do something a little bit wider reaching, because I wanted to kind of do something where I don't have to disappoint people after they comment, so where's Empire in Australia? Where's Empire in the US? Where can I find Empire? Like, it's in the UK, mate. I'm really sorry. Sorry. So I wanted something to spread out to be a little bit more general.
Yeah.
I had something in the works, developed it, didn't like it, because I didn't feel like it wasn't general enough. It wasn't as inviting, and it was a bit oddly obscure. The first thing I was going to do was about peppermint tea, of all things.
Peppermint tea?
Peppermint tea. Like, you can scroll up my Discord in the Behind the Curtains channel, and find out how making this big wide announcement that my first video after the first one was going to be about peppermint tea. So instead I'm doing a video about something that I'm very familiar with, which is role-playing a healer archetype type character.
Okay.
So that's something that's not only just relevant to Empire, but systems across the world, because where there's combat, there's healers.
That makes sense. Yeah. Have you got any kind of idea of when you're going to be getting that out there to the world?
No idea.
No idea?
It's just something I can't plan for, because there's so many other things in my life that take priority.
Yeah.
Like, I'm illustrating an adaptation of Three Musketeers right now. I've got my full-time job.
Yeah.
And I've got several other little micro projects on the go. So unfortunately, it's a low priority.
But it will be there at some point.
It will be there, and there's how you can keep up with it is going to my Discord. There will be a link in the description, I hope.
There will be.
And essentially, the Discord community is there for me to post any relevant updates to things not just I'm doing on my YouTube channel, but also other projects that I'm a part of. Like, there will, when this video comes out,
It'll be there as well.
It'll be there, absolutely. Yeah.
And just to put it out there, I've recently joined that server myself, and it's actually really nice.
Yeah, it's
I was really surprised when I'm on there, because I've been on some Discord servers and it is just, you know, I mean, I'm a bit of a degenerate.
So am I.
At the best of times. But going on there, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm in the wrong place. But I went to Holly's one, and I was like, actually, these people are really nice. And there didn't seem to be anyone who was horrible. Everyone was really supportive of each other. It was just really nice to see. So, yeah, no, I'll definitely put a link in the description for that server.
So that's how you can keep track of what I'm doing. You can also go to my Twitter channel, which is Holly the Small at a small orb.
I'll put a link in the description.
Yeah. It's a small orb because one of the members of my community started calling me an orb because of my haircut.
Orb.
Yeah, so now I'm the orb. I'm the almighty orb.
Okay. I can dig it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, say that. Are you going to be at E1?
Not going to be at E1.
Okay.
Because I wanted to take some... I'm kind of having a little bit of an Empire LARP hiatus right now.
Fair enough.
I'm going to a one-player event to kind of maybe get in the swing of it. But my plan is to attend the rest of the 3 other events.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see Holly there. You'll see me in most probably one of the other videos. But is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I'm done, thank you. I've had enough.
Oh, wow. All right then. Well.
No, this has been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed being here and talking about my stuff. And like, how long have we had this planned? 6 months.
About 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. So, you know, and you most probably end up seeing something down the line. If we end up doing a video and Holly just miraculously appears in the background.
Yeah, I creep up from behind the sofa, like you see 2 pairs of hands, like Evie Oddly at the season 11
true.
finale.
Yeah, you know, Holly's, you know, been very, very nice to all of us here. So, yeah, with that said and that done, we will see you in the next video.
Bye.